Can you put on the Canucks game?
No, go away.
Loser!
Alright, there's 2 games to talk about. First up, Game 31 against the Subway Eat Freshers. I mean, the Minnesota Wild. Sorry, it's just that those Minnesota jerseys look a lot like that paper those kind sandwich artists over at Subway wrap my meatball marinaras in. My bad. Coincidentally, if you look closely at the league standings, you'll notice the Wild are actually 1.5 footlongs behind the Canucks right now, so maybe that's what got me crossed up. Anyway, Game 31 in St. Paul, Minnesota, just a 25-minute drive from where the NHL's leading scorer Brock Besser grew up. And with his friends and family in attendance, you know he wanted to score one. Actually, I think the whole Canucks team wanted him to score too, because when JT Miller got a clear-cut chance one-on-one against Filip Gustavsson, he chose to pass it off to Besser, who was definitely not expecting it. Casey DeSmith, who got a shutout last time these two teams met, was in net for the Canucks, and he played great. But after 4 periods of trying, the Wild eventually managed to get one by him to put them up 1-0. But then Ilya Mikheyev drew a penalty to put the Canucks on the power play, a call that Minnesota coach John Hynes wasn't too happy about, but it wouldn't matter because the Canucks couldn't beat Gustavsson, still 1-0. Now, I've talked a lot about Conor Garland lately because he's been playing great, but it's not just him, it's his whole line. The combination of Garland, Dakota Joshua, and Teddy Bluger has been the Canucks' most consistent line for the past 4 or 5 games, and it doesn't seem like they're slowing down. Just look at this beauty they scored to tie the game 1-1. Then Pettersson drew a penalty. Hynes wasn't too stoked on that either, but the Canucks couldn't capitalize. Luckily, DeSmith kept his team in the game with save after save, including this incredible one off a shot from Kirill Kaprizov. Canucks fans, how nice is it to finally have a good backup goalie again? And then Brock Besser took a Quinn Hughes shot right in the ankle, and this is when I started punching walls. Of course, as soon as Besser gets back to form and reaches his potential as a goal scorer, he gets injured. Just our luck. Oh, never mind. He's back out on the power play 2 minutes later. A power play that the Canucks still couldn't find a way to score on. They're now 0 for 3, and the score is still 1-1, and that's all thanks to DeSmith, because the Wild were getting their chances too. Then Filip fell awkwardly into the boards and was slow to get up. This is when I started drop-kicking household appliances down the stairs. Right when the Canucks finally get a solid right-handed defenseman. Oh, never mind, he's fine. Pettersson then drew another penalty. Hynes was mad again, likely casting spells in his head, but the Canucks still couldn't capitalize. Are you noticing a trend here? The Canucks got their chances. I'd be silly if I didn't mention that Filip Gustavsson was on his game too. This was very much a battle between the two goalies. Pettersson even tried his famous 100% success rate wraparound, but even that didn't go in. Then he skated down the ice and saved a goal without getting a penalty. In fact, you wouldn't know it if you didn't watch because he didn't show up on the score sheet, but Pettersson had a great game. The Wild started pouring it on late in the 3rd period, and DeSmith stood on his head, but his best save came in the final 10 seconds, and it was a beauty. Thank you, Casey. Guys, come on. Thank you, Casey. Overtime. Garland got a chance, Gustavsson stopped him. Zuccarello got a chance, DeSmith stopped him. Shootout. Now, I don't know what your guys' opinion is on this, but to me, when a game goes to a shootout, it just means they tied. I'm in favor of the shootout though, only because I'd hate it if the score actually ended 1-1. But in reality, this isn't the sport of hockey anymore, it's just a skills competition. So I'm chalking this game up as a tie, but to be fair to all the Minnesota fans watching, the Wild did end up winning thanks to a goal from Zuccarello. My takeaways from this game were simple. Casey DeSmith is good, 11 a.m. start times suck, the Canucks power play needs to be better. They ended up going 0 for 5 on the night, and if they had just capitalized on one of those, they would have won the game. Here's what Coach Tocchet said about that.
The execution wasn't there. We were static. We got a lot of shots blocked. There was a lot of opportunities to make some plays. I thought we just shot in the shin pads of guys.
And then here's what Minnesota coach John Hynes said after the game. All right, next game. Game 32 against the Chicago Blackhawks. Connor Bedard's first game against the team he grew up cheering for. A team that he will be a member of at some point in the future if we cross our fingers hard enough. And when I say grew up cheering for, I mean this kid was cheering for the Canucks less than 6 months ago. Ian Cole stepped up and bonked Ryan Donato. Demko made a great save off a play set up by Connor Bedard. Chicago did end up scoring, but whatever. Wait a minute. The shots are 10-1 Chicago? 10 minutes into the game? Isn't Chicago the worst team in the league? What's going on here? Okay, 1-0 Chicago. Let's continue.
Miller again. Pettersson scored.
Okay, good. Pettersson scored on the power play. 1-1. It's all good.
He shoots, save, rebound, score!
Oh, okay. 2-1 Chicago. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Maybe if we put out the Garland-Joshua Bluger line, they can muster up some offense?
Garland winds up, redirected by Dakota Joshua, and Vancouver scores.
What a play by Garland and Joshua here. From fighting each other in practice in the preseason to channeling the Sedin twins to score goals like this, beautiful. Not only did that goal tie the game, it also woke the Canucks up because 40 seconds later they scored again, but this time it was Brock Besser sniping it from the faceoff dot for his league-leading 23rd goal of the season, and at that point the Canucks had taken full control of the game. And I mean full control. They scored again later thanks to a Tyler Myers shot that Mikheyev tipped in, and you could feel the fan base exhaling because for a moment it really felt like they might actually lose to the Blackhawks. Now, in the third period, Chicago forward Reese Johnson took a run at Pettersson, and the big man Nikita Zadorov took exception to it and pummeled him into the ground. Look, I'm not a fan of fighting people after clean hits. However, I am a fan of newly acquired players sticking up for their teammates and solidifying that bond. So the unbiased side of me says, hey, Nikita, you didn't really need to do that. But the Canucks fan in me says,
Reese who? Reese who? Reese is in pieces. Reese is in pieces. Trick or treat, bitch.
Chicago scored again to make it 4-3, but whatever. Then we got a goal from Niels Bit. Oh, never mind. That has to be the best save of the season so far, right? Wow. Anyway, that was it. Canucks won 4-3. Congrats to our two winners, the Gaming King 47-21 and Daniel Feltzman 72-41 for predicting the score of the Chicago game correctly. Also, we got a leaderboard. I'll make it look nicer eventually, but here it is for now. The Canucks are now 21-9-2 on the year, which is good enough for 3rd in the Pacific Division, 3rd in the Western Conference, and 5th in the entire league. Guys, say it with me. The Vancouver Canucks are good. I'm predicting a 4-2 win over Nashville tomorrow night and a 5-1 win over Dallas on Thursday. Drop your predictions below. Also, thank you so much for watching. A few of you tipped me during the premiere of my last video, and some of you also bought a super thanks as well. I'm still pretty new at this. I'm not sure what the difference is between those two things, but I do understand that some of you like these videos enough to donate to the creation of them, and that is so kind of you. Thank you so much for that. And to everyone else who watch and comment and share these videos with friends, thank you so much. I'm not slowing down. I'm having a blast. See you Friday. Go Canucks.
The Vancouver Canucks, easy choice.